So we're back from Texas, and as you may or may not have seen, the Origins video was last week. If you haven't seen that video, you might want to stop and go check that one out first. But we're here to do the recipe video. Buckle yourselves in because there's a bit to go through here. I'm gonna try and keep this as engaging as possible because that trip costs a lot of money, so your retention's kind of important, otherwise I'm gonna get bankrupt.
No, but seriously.
No, but seriously, watch the video. But this is a kind of a tricky recipe video for me to make. After a lot of reflection, watching pitmasters smoke meat, the reality is I'm a professional chef and I know my way around a kitchen really well. I do not know my way around a smoker really well. So it feels wrong of me to come here and teach you how to make a smoked Texas style brisket. And the reality is I need to smoke like 100 myself before I feel like I have enough knowledge to smoke it. So what I'm gonna do, don't run away just yet. What I'm gonna do is run you through how I smoked this brisket in here, step by step, and you can take from that what you want. And then I'm gonna talk a lot about the sides because as all the briskets and ribs and everything we had was absolutely delicious in every single one of the spots we had. And if you wanted to know, the Franklin's one was probably the best. It was incredible. The thing that let me down the most was the sides. I felt like the sides didn't let the star of the show, the meat, really sing, apart from in one spot at KG BBQ. That place was incredible. The sides were fresh, light, nice and acidic, and worked super well with fatty smoked meat. So I'm gonna run you through my version of the KG BBQ style sides. We're gonna do a fattoush salad, or kind of a fattoush salad, I guess. We're gonna do some red onions and sumac and lemon, which are kind of a take on the white onions that you kind of get in every barbecue joint over in Texas. We're also gonna do a spiced rice with pomegranate tahini dressing, which works really well, and a bit of a lighter kind of carb option, and some chimichurri, which is completely left field, and obviously from South America. But I think those flavors really sung to me, and I think it's time we started putting some effort into the sides. But first, let's head back to yesterday, and I'm gonna run you through how I smoked this brisket. So it's time to light this bad boy up, and the first thing I do is open everything up, the door and that top vent at the top of the chimney. That top vent I will keep open through the whole cook. I don't want any dirty smoke on that meat or it's gonna start tasting a bit bitter. The next thing I do is load up the top of this firebox with some wood that I'm gonna use, and I'll keep rotating through that wood as the cook goes on. And all that does is preheat the wood so that when you shove it on the coals, they light up instantly. I just like to simply use the 2x2 stack, and then I light it up using this gas blowtorch. And then once your fire's going nicely, you're gonna let that burn down and just keep monitoring it for the first 30 minutes. You want a good bed of coals here. And this is how your chimney should look. Nice clean smoke. You don't want it billowing out with heaps of smoke or it's gonna make your meat quite bitter. We are going for a temperature of 275 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 135 degrees Celsius. And we're gonna leave it at that kind of temperature all the way through. With a firebox this size, you're looking for kind of smaller pieces of wood. So I've ordered this wood from a local firewood guy, and these he does for pizza chefs. So it's what we call ironbark here in Australia. It's pretty common for smoking with, but you don't want it too kind of big. If they're too big, you're gonna struggle to keep your temperatures down low. I only put one piece on at a time, and what you're looking for is a good bed of coal. The other thing I do is, like I said earlier, I keep that chimney wide open at the top, and I keep my door open a little bit too, and that's kind of how I control the temperature. But this smoker worked pretty well. It held temperature not too bad, and I had to put a new log on there about every half an hour. So I am gonna release a dedicated video on how to trim this brisket in a couple of days' time, but to keep this short and sweet, I'm just gonna run you through the key points now. So we're gonna trim this pretty heavy today. This is a curved blade boning knife, and I also like to have one of these on hand when I'm doing this. This is a slightly flexible blade. It's actually a fish filleting blade. You can probably get away with just a cook's blade if you don't have one of those, but you will need one of these. I've got my brisket here, my ebony Angus brisket, beautiful Australian beef. I've got a rubbish bin here in handy. I've got some paper towels, and I've got a container to keep all my fat and meat in. First things first, we're gonna take off this hump, and I get pretty aggressive with this and just take the whole thing off. Already, you can see that there's a much more streamlined kind of look to this brisket, which is what we're after. At this point, I'm gonna flip it over. The hard fat you need to get rid of. There's a big lump of hard fat there. That's not gonna render in the cook. And anything that looks like kind of silver skinny, doesn't look like it's gonna break down. So this side here, this is where we wanna kind of keep fat. You want about maybe 1.2 or like half an inch of fat. And that's gonna keep our brisket really moist in the cooking process. Don't be afraid to kind of just make a little incision, and just to see how deep that goes. You can roughly see the shape of our brisket now. I'm pretty happy with that. We want this section here kind of curve a bit more, right? So we'll start by kind of rounding off the edge, move on to this front side. I'm just gonna trim this up a bit, and you can see the amount of fat that I like to leave on top of my brisket. Time to season our brisket. Now, by all means, you can do this the day before and dry brine it in your fridge overnight uncovered. If you dry brine it overnight, you're gonna get a kind of a better, more well-seasoned penetration. Now, this is a trick that I learned from the guys at Goldie's BBQ. They use hot water as their binder, and it kind of makes sense to me. You've got a brisket that's been air drying in the fridge overnight, it's nice and cold, using a bit of warm or hot water just to soften that fat, and then that's effectively your binder. This is real Central Texas style. We've got 50-50 in volume, salt and black pepper. Be generous with your salt and pepper. It's a big piece of meat, season all sides and pat it in. Don't kind of push it around too much. Let's get this big piece of meat into the smoker. First things first, we're gonna set up our water pan. So I've just got an aluminum foil pan or any kind of metal container, and I'm gonna fill that with cold water right at the end of the smoker where the firebox is. And what this does is just keeps the humidity high, so less chance of your brisket drying out. I'm gonna put it as close to the chimney stack as I can, but with the point or the fatter end towards the firebox and the flat towards the chimney stack. And the reason being is that you just kind of want that thicker piece of meat to be as close to the firebox as possible to kind of absorb any of that extra heat. This is 3 hours into the smoke and it's looking good. Bark is starting to form. You know, they can see that big muscle is starting to tense up, which is going to happen. It's what you want. Pretty happy so far. We're not going to start spraying just yet. 5 hours into the cook, it's looking good. The bark is starting to form, albeit a bit slower than I'd like. And we are getting a bit of burning at this point end here. So this is where we're going to start spraying, and all I've got is some water diluted with about 15% apple cider vinegar. Don't try and overspray it, just enough to kind of knock some of that temperature out and to stop it from burning. So I wrapped this brisket once it cracked 170 Fahrenheit, which is 76 degrees Celsius. And in hindsight, I kind of wish I hadn't. I think I probably could have cooked this brisket without wrapping it, but if you were happy with your bark at that point, then this is the time that you should wrap it. So we laid some butcher's paper down and we carefully put our brisket into the center. I used 2 pieces of butcher's paper, to be honest. And then I'm just gonna lay on a whole bunch of Wagyu beef tallow. And this is a trick from the Mad Scientist barbecue that I learned, and everyone kind of raves about it. So be pretty generous with this. We were gonna put more on later when we rest it as well. As you're wrapping, take note of where the top is or the fat cap, and that way you know what way you're putting it in back into the smoker. Back in the smoker it goes. We want the fat cap facing down this time. I'm gonna cook it till it reaches 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees Celsius. But this is all about feel at this point. A couple of hours later, and I think this thing's pretty close to coming out. Like I said, 200 degrees Fahrenheit, but effectively you're looking for your probe to go in and to feel like it's just going into a jar of peanut butter. It's time for the resting period. Let it come down to about 180 degrees Fahrenheit before we re-wrap it. So just over 2 hours later, and we're down to that desired temp of 180 Fahrenheit. So you're gonna carefully unwrap your brisket, and then we're gonna re-wrap it with fresh tallow before we go into the proper resting phase. So I'm just gonna use this cooler here, and we're gonna add in an extra beach towel just to create some more insulation. If your oven goes low enough, then you can also just do it into your oven, but you want it at about 50 degrees Celsius. So I intended to rest this completely overnight. I think I left it rest for too long and it just dropped too much temperature. But I think that kind of 3 to 4 hour time frame is optimal. All right, if you're still with us, thank you. Our brisket is resting. We're gonna start making our sides. We're gonna run through these quickly because we've got 4 recipes to go through. So all the recipes will be on my website, andy-cooks.com, because they won't all fit in the description down below. We're gonna start with the spiced rice. First up, basmati rice. We're gonna rinse it, and then we're gonna let it soak in water for about 20 minutes. Our rice has been soaked for 20 minutes, fresh water, 1 knuckle deep. We're gonna add our spices. We've got salt, coriander, turmeric, star anise, green cardamom, and some garlic powder. Just give it a little stir to make sure that those spices are evenly distributed, and then into the rice cooker. So while that rice is cooking, let's make our dressing. It's pretty simple. You need some tahini, some hulled tahini. The trick with tahini is if it's sat at the supermarket for too long, the oil will rise to the top, so leave it on its lid for a while. Pour that into a jar, and then all we're gonna do is simply season it with salt, lemon juice, lots of lemon juice too, and 1 clove of garlic, finely grated. And hot tip, peel your garlic, leave it in the freezer. That way when you grate it, it comes out easily. You don't end up with a microplane full of garlic. So we're just gonna start working this lemon juice into this tahini. Eventually it'll emulsify in there. If you're doing a lot of this dressing, you can use a blender, but for this amount, it's not really worth getting it dirty. End up with like a mayonnaise consistency. That's one of my favorite sauces of all time. There's a little bit more salt. It's literally 3 ingredients. I'm gonna pour this into a squeezy bottle because I'm a chef and that's what we do. Makes it easy to get the squiggly lines. In the fridge until we need it. Now our rice is fully cooked. You can see conveniently our big herbs have floated to the top. We're gonna fluff the rice and get it into a bowl. Little drizzle of olive oil. Then we've got some chopped parsley, pine nuts and pomegranate, and obviously our tahini dressing that we'll use when we dress all this, but we kind of want this rice to cool just a little bit. Not cold, but you kind of don't want it like piping hot where everything's gonna wilt a bit. Next up, fattoush-ish salad. Kind of a slight variation. Sliced cherry tomatoes, just in half. Some barrel cut Lebanese cucumber, some fresh breakfast radish, some sliced red onion, picked parsley. It's gonna make a real simple dressing. I'm gonna use some red wine vinegar, pinch of salt, and a good glug of olive oil. Some fresh cracked pepper, give it a shake. Toss the salad well, and then chuck it in the fridge until we're ready to use it. All right, let's make the chimichurri. Again, it's like a kind of chimichurri because I don't think it's super traditional, but it is what it is. In a bowl, chiffonade, a whole lot of parsley. I like to add mint to my chimichurri. I don't know if that's traditional. Sorry if it's not. I like to roll my parsley up tightly into a ball, then just run your knife through it. I'm gonna go about 50-50, the same amount of parsley and mint. We've got a couple of chilies that we're gonna de-seed. If you like it really spicy, then just leave the seeds in. Slice them all long ways, one way, turn them around, finally dice them the other way. Don't forget to wash your hands. We got 2 cloves of garlic. We're just gonna finely grate into it. Big pinch of salt, some dried oregano, red wine vinegar, and olive oil. Into the fridge until we're ready to use it. Next up, the sumac red onions. Super simple. Sliced red onion, nice and thin, sumac, big pinch of salt, and lemon juice. Just give those a toss, and then we're just gonna get them in the fridge to marinate. It's time to carve this thing. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm gonna talk about what I'm not happy with in this brisket too as I'm carving this. It feels like the bark's just not set in enough. I think my smoker was probably cooking a bit under what I thought it was, but hey, you know, we live and we learn. Quickly on brisket, point end, flat end. The grains kind of run this way in the flat and they run a bit more this way in the point. So we're gonna carve like this, about a pencil thickness till we get to here, turn the whole thing around, and then we carve this. Well, then we carve this way, sorry. Okay. So technically this should be the driest point on the brisket. It's not bad. It's pretty nice and moist. It might be a bit cold. I think I'll let rest it a bit long. Let's get carving. Oh, you can see it's nice and juicy though. Look at that. At a certain point, you're gonna want to flip it this way. No, we'll go this way. You can ask if you want the point or the flat at the barbecue joints, and I'm definitely a point type of guy. I like the nice fattiness. Key points that I've taken where I've gone wrong. Well, let's talk about the good points too. It's actually cooked pretty well. I think the internal temperature's nice. It's still pretty moist, which is good. I think the smoke ring could probably improve a little bit, and I think that's from heat. I don't think the smoker was actually hot enough because the fat also hasn't rendered probably quite as much as I would have liked to. And clearly hasn't formed the bark as I would have liked to as well. So, but for a first attempt, I'm pretty happy. But again, it would feel wrong of me to sit here and be like, this is how you smoke a brisket, when I haven't nailed it. To be perfectly honest, if I did nail it, it probably would have been a little bit of a fluke. Let's see what it's like. It looks nice and moist. I did rest it for too long too. I think this is resting from maybe 7 o'clock last night, or a bit earlier, until now. It's still a little bit tough. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's nicely seasoned. It's not super smoky, but that should kind of just pull apart, and it's kind of not. Caveat, this is definitely a very edible piece of meat. I am not like gonna throw this in the bin, we're all gonna eat this, but I just wanted to be really honest about my opinions on it. But I'm gonna plate everything up, we'll get everything together, we'll have our final thoughts. So there you go, my take on Texas BBQ. I know the sides are a bit left of field, but I think that they are absolutely delicious and pair well with the super smoky, fatty brisket. I think it actually cooked pretty well. Overall, just needed those couple more improvements. Like I was saying, for a first effort, I'm pretty proud, pretty happy with it. But let's taste some. Especially this, now we're talking, now we're getting the pool. This point end, great smoky flavor, seasoned well, and still super moist. This rice salad is not only great for barbecue, but a great salad to use. Now, the guys at KG BBQ just do a fantastic job, I think, of elevating sides to another level and thinking outside the box. So shout outs to those guys. Thank you for the inspiration. That's not it for the Origin series this year. Next up, we're in Nashville for hot chicken. That'll be in about a month's time. And if you haven't seen the other Origins episodes, then click this link here and you can watch our last one. And there should be an Origins playlist up in the corner here. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you took anything from it. 10 out of 10 points if you lasted this long. And subscribe if you're not, because I think a lot of you don't subscribe, but you watch my videos and it helps the channel out heaps. We'll see you next week for another recipe back here in the studio. Peace.